guys, welcome back to my channel. I decided to move my makeup room around. I know I told you guys that my makeup studio is inside my kids' room, so it's very hard for me to film because I have to break down everything because this is their bedroom. But I do have my makeup station always here, but I just have to put all my camera and everything around it, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to just sit down and film. So once we move, probably next year, I will have my own room and I'll be able to make more videos because it's more convenient. However, I wanted to share with you guys my little lights. As you can see, my little Jack Skellington Scentsy warmer, and then I have this really pretty one here, Scentsy light. If you guys aren't familiar with Scentsy, they're just basically scented wax that goes inside the warmer and it makes your house smell amazing. I've been watching so many fall candle reviews and love them. However, none of us, me, my sister, my mom, or any of us use candles because we had our house burned down. I was in 9th grade and our house caught on fire. So, it was a very scary story because I was actually home that day, and I remember my mom had gotten a fight, and so I was up in my room. Really, she thought I was, but I actually left to go babysit. And when the house got on fire, she thought I was upstairs, but she couldn't get to me, so she freaked out until my sister calmed her down and said, no, she's not here. So, because it was basically the upstairs, the fire started from outside in the shed, and it went up the back, and it went all to the top floor, which was all the kids' rooms. But I can explain that, and maybe another, life story I can tell you guys about that. But long story short, we don't use candles. So anyways, that's why I wanted to share that with you. But anyways, I have my new fall scents in, and I wanted to show you this one right here in particular because it means a lot. My little sister gave it to me, my mom, and my twin sister for Christmas last year, because it's the tattoo that we have. I mean, we got ours years ago after my brother died, and my nephew, my oldest nephew, actually designed this. So it's amazing that they have this. So when it came out, my sister got it for all of us. So yeah, so it's very special. Anyways, I did have a friend kind of give me some pointers on how to kind of set up my room better, and I think it looks great. So I'm really happy with this. So enough about that. I just wanted to kind of get you guys to understand what's going on. Today's video is actually just a full face of drugstore makeup. I don't think I've ever done that before. I always combine because I do use drugstore and I do use high-end, but I've never done a video basically just with drugstore products or more affordable. So anyways, if you like this look and you want to see how I got it, please keep watching. Okay, so I am starting off with my brows as usual, but today I'll let you know what I used. And since it's a drugstore tutorial, I went ahead and used drugstore. I used the Got To Be Glued brow spiking glue, and this I used just to kind of push up my brows to keep them in that really kind of pasted down and just kind of where you can see the brow hairs. It's like the soap brow technique. It's also would be the same thing as using like afterwards using that Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel just to kind of hold it up, but this holds even better. And then I used the NYX Tame Frame brow pomade, and this is in the color Espresso. So it's very similar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow. And then on top of that, I used my regular Wet n Wild ash brown powder. I only use the middle one, but I actually have a brand new one ready to go, but I can't get rid of it. I'm like one of those people that just hates to waste. Sometimes I'll use this at the very tail end of my brow if I really want a strong brow. This one right here is like kind of like a wax, but I don't use it. It just got color over it, but I don't really use that at all. So that's my brows. So I don't have anything on my lids. You can see how naturally dark my lids are. Today I will use just a concealer over my lids because I'll use that as my primer. I usually use the P. Louise shadow base, but obviously we're doing drugstore, so we're gonna go with the LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this one is in the color Fairest. It's very light, but it's gonna get rid of all that discoloration. And then I take this brush, and this is the Sigma P84, and then I just kind of buff that in. I can even kind of bring it under my brow. I'll just go ahead and do my eyes first, and that's just because that's how I usually do my makeup anyways. I honestly don't have any pressed powder from a drugstore, but there's plenty out there. But I happen to have a lot of high-end ones, so I don't have anything to use today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and with my loose powder, just to dust a little bit over my eyes, and I'm gonna go ahead and use that Airspun from Coty. And I'll just take it on a big, like kind of like a fluffy brush like this, just dip it into my powder, knock off the excess, and just kind of dust over my lids. And that'll just kind of set that concealer for me. So for eyeshadow, I can honestly say I don't have any drugstore eyeshadows because I've just had so much eyeshadow that I don't ever need to buy eyeshadow. So I don't have any drugstore, but I can tell you that I buy a lot of Morphe, and like this one that I'm gonna use is the 3502 palette, and it's $25 and you get 35 eyeshadows. So to me, that's pretty much like a drugstore brand. You know what I'm saying? These are all these nice, beautiful fall colors. So I definitely went over that. The black is broken in here, but I have plenty of blacks to use. But yeah, I just want to use these nice warm tones for fall. But like I said, it's not drugstore, but to me, it's drugstore price, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and mention the brushes that I'm using. One of my subscribers actually asked me to list the brushes that I use. I usually try to say them. I pretty much thought I did that. I don't always list everything, but when I'm doing a tutorial, I usually say what I'm using, but if I wasn't, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. I'm using the Morphe M511 brush. It's a nice big fluffy brush, and I'll use this to pick up my first color. And the first color I'll do is, and it's this color called Universal. So I'm just gonna dip into that and just go ahead and blend this out. I'm so happy fall has started. It's just starting to cool off here in Las Vegas. Normally at this time, you know, by Halloween time, it starts to get really cold, but it's still really warm, but I can tell it's starting to cool off, so I'm really excited about that. Not that I don't love the heat, but I definitely can't wait sometimes to start, you know, wearing sweaters. Actually a dress, but it's like a nice warm cozy dress. Okay, so once I got that at the intensity that I want it, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH32, and I'm sorry my brushes are actually dirty. I'm gonna take a little bit deeper of a color, and I'm gonna use this color called Brick, and then I'm just gonna warm that up in the crease. These colors always remind me, you know, it's like, this is like pumpkin spice season. It's just like, oh, I love it. I actually have a new sweater that I'm waiting to come in that I ordered, and it says pumpkin spice everything, so I'm super excited. I can't wait till that comes in. I'm just like a total fall person. So I'm gonna take a little bit smaller of a brush, and this is from Wayne Goss, and this is the 03. You can see how it's actually very similar to that Jaclyn Hill brush, but the tip is very tapered, so it gets right into the crease right here. And I think I'm gonna go in with the color called So Warm right here. It's like a reddish brown. And that one, I'm gonna basically kind of start it towards the bottom, bring it up, and bring it in. As you're doing that, you just go back with your other colors and just kind of soften everything. So I'm going back in with that second color, nothing on it, but just the brush that I used that, and just kind of blend those out. And you can kind of bring it out farther as well. Depending how dramatic you want it, you can really use a dark brown or a black. I'm not gonna use black. I'm gonna take an even smaller brush. And this one will be, it's a little bit more like packed, so the color will be more intense. And this is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe JH37. And I'll take the darkest brown in the palette called Muddy. Gotta bring my mirror a little closer because I can't see. Go back again with the brush from the last color that you used, which had that reddish brown. Again, just blend everything together and just kind of start from the outside and then just blend it in towards the center. And you can kind of bring it out. So for the lid, I'm gonna put a little bit of a shimmer on there. I'm gonna use this shimmer right here. This is called Pure. It's a nice goldy shimmer. I'm gonna put it on with the MAC 242. So I'm gonna pack that right on my lid. It is shimmery, but it's not as much as I like. So I'm gonna add something on top, and you can always wet your brush as well if you want it a little bit more shimmery. But because I have this little stuff I'm gonna use, I don't need to do that. Then I have this from Wet n Wild, just like this little shimmery pot. Might have been $2, and it's got little glitters on it. So I'm just gonna rub my finger in it and just tap it right in the center. So it's just gonna add a little glitter in there. It's not the best quality, but it's gonna do the trick since that's what we're working with today, is Drugstore. For eyeliner today, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. liquid liner. I usually prefer ones with like a felt on it. For me, they're easier to work with. However, this gives you that really nice wet liner, and it's very dark. I'm gonna have to do this off camera though, because I can't. I have to be close to my mirror, so I'll be right back. Okay, liner is on, and I did it like more in like a wing style. So now before I do my lashes, I'll go ahead and do my foundation and my complexion. For primer, I love the L'Oreal Magic Lumi. This is so amazing. It leaves your skin nice and luminous. It reminds me a lot of the MAC strobe cream if you've used that, but without the price of a strobe cream. So it automatically gives you like a nice dewy look with a really nice high shine to your skin. So I love this one, and it feels hydrating too. For one of my favorite foundations from Drugstore is L'Oreal again, and it's the True Match Lumi foundation. Mine is in the color W3 Nude Beige. So I'm gonna squirt a little bit onto my palette. I will use, this is actually an affordable brush. This is from Real Techniques. It's the buffing brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of get that in, work that in there, and then just start pouncing it on my skin. After I get it all worked into my skin, I'm gonna go with my Real Techniques beauty sponge and just kind of work that in. Kind of gets rid of any brush strokes. And I like to use this down my neck. So I don't really bring this onto my neck, but I kind of buff it down into my neck. And this is a really good color for me because I didn't have to bring it down on my neck. If your foundation happens to be too dark, go ahead and bring it down so it matches your neck. The 16-hour camo concealer from e.l.f. This color is called Fair Warm, and I'm going to put a little bit on the inner corner, a little bit on the outer corner, a little bit down my nose, a little in the center, my forehead, a little bit on my chin, a little bit on my cupid's bow. I like to brush it out first to kind of blend it in before I use my sponge, so I can get as much of the color kind of set where I want it, and then the sponge will just basically soften everything. Now I'll take my sponge and just kind of buff that in. Next thing I want to do before I put my contour on, my skin's starting to feel a little bit dry because I have the foundation, the concealer, everything just kind of feels a little heavy. So because I want, again, Drugstore, I'm going to take this from Vichy. It's a mineralizing thermal water. It's just gonna refresh my skin, and I just get this at CVS. So I'm just gonna spray a little bit on my skin. Just kind of rehydrates your skin, and then you can just kind of go back and buff again around. Because when you're like pouncing your skin a lot, it starts to feel really dry. So that's why I like to bring back a little bit of that moisture. For contour, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Wet n Wild stick, and this is called Oaks on You. It's just a contour pencil. I also love the LA Girl Pro Conceal, just like the concealer that I used. I love this one. I'm just gonna use this one today. So I'm gonna go into my contour areas, which is here and here, here and here. I always do my chin because I have a longer chin. And then of course I'll go down my nose. To buff that out, I'm gonna use another Real Techniques brush, and this is the contour brush, and it's synthetic hair, so it's really nice for cream contour. And I'm just buffing this in and trying to not go below the line, but try to buff it upwards. I can actually show you that I do have a lot of contour palettes and things that I use. A lot of them are high end. I really like this one because it's so creamy and just really blends so well. That's why I wanted to do this video, is that you don't have to always buy the expensive brands to get the same effect. For my nose, I'm going to use my trusty little JD Weighty 180 brush. It's a two-ended nose contour brush, and I'm using the fluffy side just to blend this out. But before I blend it all the way out, I'm going to go back with what's on my brush from my concealer and just kind of go along the edges of that. So instead of like really just blending away all that contour, I'm basically just kind of tapping over with what was left on my brush of the concealer, and it's going to blend them together. I'm just going to go back with my, just to make sure it's completely blended. Next it's time for powder, and that way I can go ahead and finish my eyes as well. So I'm going to go back with my Coty Airspun powder. I'm going to take my same Real Techniques sponge, dip it into the powder, and go right underneath my eyes. Now I'm not oily at all, I'm very dry. So if you're really oily, you would definitely want to set your face with like a translucent powder first, like maybe just like dust one over. Maybe take a big powder puff, dip it into your powder, knock it off, and then just kind of dust over your face just to kind of set your whole entire face. I don't do that because I'm so dry. So I am going to go though underneath like the part where my contour was, just to kind of emphasize that. And I'm just, like I said, like we're just kind of baking. I'm just going to put a little bit down my nose just to kind of emphasize the baking. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my lashes on really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so for lashes, I used the Kiss lashes in the style Sequin. I just had this big pack of them because I love them, and they are, I mean, it's because it comes with 4 pairs. It was like $16, I think, but you know, you can get just the regular individual packs. For bronzer, I don't, again, have any like drugstore bronzers, but I do have Morphe. And this is that Glamour Bronze Face and Body Bronzer in Icon. And it's from the same collection that I got, the 35G Bronze Goals palette for Shadow. A nice big bronzer. I don't remember how much this one was, but it's definitely affordable compared to some, like my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer that I love is not affordable. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. And I still have the powder all around my eyes and underneath, but I'm just kind of going around it. Go down onto your neck as well. I already had a cream contour underneath there, so I don't have to use as much bronzer, but I'm just kind of warming up the skin. I will use my Morphe E62 brush, dip into that same bronzer, and just kind of go down the sides of my nose, just to kind of bring back that contour as well. For blush, the only drugstore blush that I have, but that everybody in the world probably has, is the Milani Luminoso blush. It is a baked blush, so I'm going to take it with like a stiffer brush just to make sure it kind of gets on there. And then we'll just kind of swirl that on. Hold it over my nose. For my highlighter, I do have the Pixie by Petra, and this is the Glowy and Gossamer Duo in Delicate Dew. So pretty. I'm gonna just mix the two colors together because one's very pinky, one's a little bit more rose gold. So I'm gonna mix them together to get a combination of the both, but it is beautiful. And the last thing I'm gonna do is just go back underneath my eyes with those same colors that I used earlier. So I'm gonna start with the same color that I started with, which was that brown called Universal right here. And I'm just gonna kind of bring that and bring it down pretty low because it's the lightest of the colors. Oh, and the brush that I used on that one is from Vasanti. It says contour eyeshadow brush, so I don't know. I got that in an Ipsy or BoxyCharm. I don't do those anymore, but that's how I get some of these things that I don't even know where I got them, but that's where I got that from. So now I'm gonna take a little bit smaller brush, and this is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH40, and I'm gonna use that to dip into that color called Brick, which was that second color that we used. And this is just gonna go a little bit closer to the lash line. The next brush I'm going to use is a little pencil brush. This is from Morphe Jaclyn Hill, and this is the JH39. I'm going to dip it into not the darkest brown, but that other color that we went to called So Warm. It's like that reddish brown. And I'll just bring that right at the lash line. I don't always put liner in my waterline. I do like it just for different looks. Or dramatic, you can do a black, or if you want to open your eye more, you could do like a flesh toned or like a white. I'm just gonna leave it with nothing today. I don't really have a lot of eyeshadows that are drugstore, but I do have this one from NYX. I don't know if they still make these. I actually got this online, but this is like a little pearl pigment, and this is just a little white. I'm just gonna dip into it with my little pencil brush. And then pick up a little bit to just go on the inner corner and just give myself a really nice inner corner highlight. So it's actually called Ultra Pearl Mania, and the color is called White Pearl. But since I needed a highlight for the inner corner, and the one that I used on my lid was too gold, I didn't want to put that in the inner corner, so that's why I used that. The last thing I need is mascara for the bottom, but I don't have any drugstore mascaras. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with my regular MAC Giga Black Lash. The L'Oreal Voluminous is, I've loved in the past. I just don't wear mascara. I only wear it for the bottom. So this is my favorite that I've found. The reason I say I don't really wear mascara is because I pretty much wear lashes every single day. I think all that's left is lips, and what I'm gonna use is the NYX in Natural number 810. So I'll put that on. I blended it a little bit up into the lip because the color that I'm gonna wear for my lipstick is a little bit light. But the reason why I wanna use this color, this is another one from NYX. This color is 595, it's a pink. But the reason I wanna use this, you guys, is I wanna show you something that I didn't know either. I learned this on TikTok. This little bottom part that looks like it's just showing you the color, you guys, it's a little pot with more lipstick inside of it. I had no idea. Like, are you kidding me? I have like so many of these lipsticks, and I had no idea that they had like a little pot of lipstick underneath. So that is so cute. I had no idea, so I just wanted to share that. I was like, oh, this will be perfect time. So I wish I had like an actual like clear gloss, but all I have is the butter glosses, and this one is the closest to kind of what I'm wearing. This is an Eclair, and this is also from NYX. And I'll just put a little bit in the center just to give a little pouty effect. I don't have a setting spray for drugstore, so I'm just gonna skip that. I know they have a good one from NYX, but I haven't picked that up because I have too many setting sprays that I just don't need anymore, so I don't need to pick it up. But if you do need a setting spray, you can get some affordable setting sprays. But I'm gonna go do my hair really quick and I'll be right back. Guys, so this is the finished look. I just went ahead and put on a necklace and curled my hair because I was actually doing a TikTok along with this one too. So for me, like literally, I don't wear makeup every day anymore. I literally just do my eyes and that's it. So for me to do TikToks anymore, by the time I get off work, I'm too tired to like do my makeup to do a TikTok. So now I'm combining like TikToks and YouTube in the same day. So I go from not doing anything to trying to do multiple stuff in one day. So anyways, that's what I did with this. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this look. I hope that it was informative and you learned some products that you might be interested in for yourself. Let me know down in the comments what you guys would like to see. I've been asking people to, you know, kind of give me some inspiration of what to do. I know I haven't done any reviews. I haven't done any like favorites. So maybe those are what I'll do soon. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.